And all of a sudden, she feels her hand get a little
I just feel my hand getting heavy, y'all, like dropping. I look over.
I'm sinking to the floor.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Evangelia and I talk about all things faith and lifestyle, and today I'm with my husband and we're going to be giving you guys a life update. Yep. We're going to be telling the story of how we basically laid down our entire lives in New Jersey to become full-time missionaries based out of California. So it all started on December 3rd, 2022, which is the date that we got married. Elijah and I at the time both had pretty good paying jobs. Mine was really close to 6 figures. His was also pretty close to 6 figures. And together we were almost at, I think 200K a year. So we were living lavish, living comfortably, the luxury apartment, able to shop whenever we want, do what we want, travel when we want, until 2 weeks later.
Yeah, so I was working as a regional program manager overseeing some after school programs, and we had a contract with a school district for 20 years, and out of nowhere we lost the contract with that school district, and I was overseeing the schools, the multiple high schools in that school district. And so because we lost the contract, they're like, we can't have there's no job for you anymore because
it doesn't exist anymore
because we don't have that contract. So I lost my job.
So then we became a single.
2 weeks after we got married.
2 weeks after we got married. So then we became a single income household, which was me, because even the severance that they gave him, I think it was just
2-3 months.
It was a month of severance that they gave him. It was 2 months of severance. So after those 2 months, it was pretty much a single household income.
Yeah.
But a month later, after he got laid off, y'all, I got laid off. My whole entire job family was cut. So I was an agile delivery lead for Capital One, and that whole job family got cut. So all of my managers, my supervisors, people who had been there 29 years, all of us were cut. But the severance that they gave us was a lot better. I think it was 10 months. So basically we were living off of severance from January until October. So we knew we were in a season of transition, because the fact that he got laid off and I got laid off, we were all right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, we were the Lord is definitely doing something here, but we just didn't know what. So we were asking him okay, God, what is happening here? What is the transition you have for us? And I remember, I think I had told Elijah either a year or a couple years back that I wanted us, or I felt like we were meant to do circuit riders. And he was like, no, you got it. I'm not doing that. I'm not leaving Jersey.
I said, go ahead. I will release you. I will fly to California and visit you, but that is not my ministry.
Yeah, he was really dedicated to Jersey, the mission or the assignment he felt like he had over there, the church, all of that.
Yes.
So I left it alone because I was it doesn't feel right. Come November, before we get married, I remember telling him again, hey, I really feel like we're meant to go out and join circuit riders. I really feel that. And he was like, you know what, babe, I'll support you. I don't want to stop you. I don't want you to feel like you have to not do something because of me. We can do a long distance marriage.
Yes. I will sacrifice it for the kingdom.
I literally looked at him like a long distance marriage. I was like, no, I don't think that's how it's meant to be. And I left it alone. So now we got laid off from our jobs. We're in this season of transition. And I'm just okay, God, you're clearly doing something. What is it? I wasn't hearing anything apart from that. And were you hearing anything?
I wasn't. I was applying to jobs that I was qualified for.
More than qualified for.
I had my master's, and I just wasn't getting it. I knew the person. I would apply for jobs and I would know the people interviewing me. I'm like, oh, this is definitely a dead end. And I'm like, I still wasn't getting it. And I was just like, well, what in the world?
Something's up here.
So I was just like, all right, I guess we're in transition. So I'm I was working little jobs, and I got this really clutch job in New Brunswick that was really helpful. It paid really well, but I was still looking for something permanent.
It was part-time, right?
It was part-time, but it was really good money, and it was still in the field that I was working in. And so I was like, all right, God, I'm trying to figure out what do you want to do next? And I started to feel like he wants me to do ministry. But I was I didn't know really what he was saying. So I was just waiting it out. And then, you want to talk about January?
Yeah, so Black Voices last year, What's it, 2024, right? So January 2023, Black Voices had their Midwest rally, their Columbus, Ohio rally.
Yep.
And so we don't got no job, so we got time. So we drove to Ohio for the rally, and we, participated or whatever. Like, we were with it. There were family at that point. I was at the very initial Black Voices gathering, like before it was even Black Voices, the tent gathering of 50. And so I've kind of been rocking with them since, like flying out to join them in certain things, or just, keeping in communication.
And every time they came to Jersey, we would partner. Like, I think in 2023, that February, we hosted a youth rally at my home church. I think it was like 300 youth showed up for that, and then I helped with the Nork Festival that Black Voices did. So we were family. So
we were family at that point, and so we went there, and Yasmin Pierce, Brad LaChapelle, and Michael Pierce.
Say their full name.
Yes, I will. They basically were like talking to us. We kind of updated them, like, yeah, we both got laid off. We're in transition. And the thing is, whenever we would say that we got laid off, we were super joyful about it. It wasn't like a boo-hoo kind of thing. It wasn't like oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out kind of thing. I don't know. I kind of just had this like faith and confidence, like, oh, God's gonna take care of us. And so we were telling them that, and they were like, wow, you're definitely in a season of transition. And then they threw is it the bait and line or bait and hook? Yeah. They was basically trying to reel us in. They were like, oh, you can come out and join us. Like, we'd have a position for you on staff. We'd love to have you. And I told you, I had already been feeling that. So I was like, really? And Elijah was like, no. Essentially, he didn't tell them no right then and there.
I was flattered by their offer.
Yeah, but he was like, yeah, it ain't happening.
My heart was unmoved.
So we go back. The youth rally happens in February, and then we help out with the Nork rally in April. I think it was. Mm-hmm. And I think even before then they pitched it. When we got back from Ohio, they pitched maybe it in March. They pitched in that January, like a couple weeks later.
Okay.
Because it was like a month. So they pitched like either that January or February, and they were like, hey, we'd love to hop on a Zoom with y'all. So we hopped on a Zoom, and basically they were telling us why they wanted us, like what they would have us do if we got there, what it would look like, basically like giving us all the info and really just making a clear ask, like, we want y'all to come out on staff, and like, but you still have to be a student. And so they ask us or whatever, and I remember being on that Zoom call and like listening to them asking questions, and Elijah was at work. So he was so disengaged, y'all. Like, he was like, his camera was off, he was outside, he even left early, and I remember feeling so bad. I was like, dang, I hope they don't think we're disrespectful.
Yeah, I had to work. I was in the middle, and I was overseeing some sites, so I had to go, and I was driving, but I was listening.
Yeah, okay. So that happens, and they're like, okay, you know what, pray on it. We'd love to hear an answer by like March or something, or April or something like that. And we're like, okay. So I remember hearing like clearly from the Lord, like, okay, yeah, this is what you're meant to do. But Elijah still was not budging. And so my prayer wasn't like, I remember at that time, my prayer wasn't, Lord, is this what we're supposed to do? I was like, Lord, would you shift Elijah's heart, because I know that this is your will. And I remember thinking, like, if we don't do this, we're not going to be in the Lord's will. Like, we're gonna be disobedient. And when you're married, you're kind of attached to your partner's disobedience. And so I was like, I really believe that this is what the Lord wants for us. And Lord, if it really is what you want for us, I know you'll shift his heart and it'll align. So I remember going on a fast and praying, and not knowing he had also gone on a fast and was praying. Yeah.
So I feel like, my wife really felt like this was of the Lord, and I was not hearing that at all. So I was like, the least I can do is fast and pray. So
the least.
So I'm like, you know what? I started fasting by saying going in for an answer, but then I realized that's not the reason why you fast. You don't fast to get something other than Jesus. And so I shifted my focus. I'm like, all right, I'm not even gonna ask anymore if I should do this. I'm just gonna focus on Jesus, because if I focus on Jesus, then I'll hear his voice clearly. Mm-hmm. And so I've kept fasting, and come March, so obviously this was they must put the act in January. So March comes, and I'm at Resting Place, and I'm sure even Jelly mentioned that place before.
Yeah, Resting Place has been in like my vlogs. If you remember from my Jersey vlogs when we were in that apartment, Mondays used to be my favorite days, because we'd go grocery shopping, and then we would get kava every other week, and we'd go to House of Prayer. That's the House of Prayer that I was talking about.
So I went to Resting Place. This guy spoke. Good message.
His name was Josh McDonald. He was from IHOP KC. It was a really good
He's not
message.
in IHOP KC anymore, though.
Yeah, it was a really good message. He yeah, we don't, sorry. But he spoke on being a voice and not an echo for your generation.
Yeah, good message, you know. Yeah, I agree. I don't want to be
An
I
echo.
want to be an echo. I want to be a voice. All that great stuff. It's all right. Come to the altar if you feel like you're a voice for this generation.
But he also did come to the altar if you want the fire of God. That's what he said.
Oh, I don't remember that. I just remember come to the altar if you want to be a voice. I'm like, yeah, you know, I want to be a voice. We came up to the altar together.
Yeah, so we're holding hands. We're at the altar together.
And as soon as I touched, like, that open space before the altar, I'm weeping. And I'm just like, and I'm crying. I'm holding her hand, and all of a sudden she feels her hand get a little
I just
heavy.
feel my hand getting heavy, y'all, like dropping. I look
'Cause
over.
I'm sinking to the floor. And then Ali, one of my mentors, he's the head of a wrestling place. He comes over to me. He's like, "Remember the first word I gave to you? You're a John the Baptist to this generation." You know, like, oh. And I'm crying. I have no clue why I'm crying. I'm just getting tore up at that altar, and the Lord is just working. So eventually, I'm just on my face, laying prostrate on the floor, and
You hear the Lord say.
I hear the Lord say, "I want you to move to California." Immediately, I wiped those tears from my eyes, and I said no. I was like, oh, this is a little too much. But then it was like, all right, I was definitely having a God encounter, and I definitely pulled myself out, and that was clearly my flesh. So maybe that was the voice of God. Because like I said, I had stopped asking if I should go or not. I was just going. I was just been focusing on getting more of Jesus. And so after that night, I was like,
He didn't tell me. That happened on a Monday. My birthday was that Friday. And so on Friday, we're going around getting my birthday freebies. And he's like, okay, I have something to tell you. And I look at him and I'm like, what? I already knew what was coming. And he was like, I feel like we're meant to move to California. I was like, yes, finally.
So from March to August was just me preparing
Preparing.
my heart.
Yeah.
Because I never in a million years, nobody would have ever thought. We told people and they thought we were joking.
Yeah.
Because,
We're newlyweds.
yeah, and Elijah, everyone knows Elijah will never leave Jersey.
Yeah.
And I had to just,
We were pretty rooted in our church, and we still are.
Still
Even
are.
more so now, I would say.
yes.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I didn't want to just obey God in action and my heart not be in it. So I spent those 5 months really just bringing my heart into alignment with what God was telling me to do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. So then we did what we did.
We did what we had to do. We prepared to come. We packed up our whole apartment.
We canceled our wedding.
Yeah, we canceled our wedding because the thing, and I like if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you know that I canceled my wedding to come out to Cali, but we're still sad about that. We believe the Lord will redeem it in some way, and we'll be able to have our wedding, our dream wedding. But we had the money for our wedding, and it was either we do our wedding or we cancel our wedding and use that money to be able to move well without stressing, and to be able to like at least have something when we get there.
And so we had amazing people who you know,
Yeah.
invested and people who like gave money to us. But by canceling our wedding, we didn't have to worry or wait until we got money to move.
Yeah.
We just started to use some of the money that we had saved up for the wedding stuff to actually just go out on faith.
Yeah.
And not have to like wait
Yeah.
for stuff to come in line.
So we moved our whole 2-bedroom apartment, canceled our wedding, and the truck took our stuff to California. We shipped my car. We left his car, and that's how we ended up as full-time missionaries
Full time.
in Huntington Beach, California. Now, a question we get a lot, and we're gonna answer some FAQs here. A question we get asked a lot is, what exactly do we do? Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. So that's such a complicated question because we do a lot.
Yeah.
But right now we are the co-project directors for
Yeah, Black Voices.
Yeah, Black Voices. I don't know what I was about to say. For Black Voices, and so basically we cover like all the festivals, the rallies, the big events.
Well, now the intensive as well.
Yeah, the intensive. Well, all the special events that Black Voices does all over the country and even outside the country. We kind of just run point in that with our team, just organizing that, mobilizing for it. So this year we did the SoCal tour.
Yeah, he planned that out. It was really
So
good.
I planned that. It was the first time we ever did anything in SoCal. We normally go on the East Coast to like HBCUs. But we did 2 weeks of touring. We went to UCLA and USC, and there's a recap on.
And I'm gonna insert the clip here at some point.
Yeah.
Time to ride, babe. It's time to ride. I know
know God, then I know that He doesn't need anything from me. He can solve all the world's problems by Himself. So if He's calling me, it means that He wants to meet me with His love.
So yeah, so we did 2 weeks of that, and then we had 2 outreach teams from Circuit Riders out the overarching organization with us as well. And so we did that, and then Evangelia just led the Black Voices missions experience in Atlanta.
Yeah, and then I planned this year's at Midwest rally.
Yes.
So that was like the first one that I did, and glory be to Yasmin Pierce because no, really thank God for her, because she's her and some of the other exec team have been like running point on the rallies, and so she created like an events manual, so it helped me with the rally, and it really helped me with Atlanta this year. So I did Midwest, and I helped plan out our Atlanta Missions Experience Week, which is the vlog that I just posted. So if you're wondering what that was, you can go watch it. But just a short recap, we just flooded the city of Atlanta with the gospel evangelism, and we did events every day. So we're the Black Voices co-projects directors, and then we are also on the Black Voices exec team. So that just comes with like helping make executive decisions for Black Voices as a whole, I guess, like just budget wise, just Black Voices wise, staffing wise,
just help advance the movement and get it. Black Voices is only 3 years old, so it's a very young organization, so we're just helping add some voice to it. And then we do like, now that's Black Voices.
We also do like some side quests. Sorry baby, go ahead.
No, it's okay. So Black Voices is a part of Circuit Riders, which is the overarching organization. We also do some things a part of that as well, and so we help prayer lead for our greenhouse sets, which is like our prayer and worship, kind of like
it's like the prayer room.
The prayer room type stuff, and so we help lead out in some of those nights.
Specifically for Thursday nights.
And then
I help lead out the Black Voices track for our discipleship training school. So the way Circuit Riders works is that they have 2 discipleship training schools a year. They have fall, and then they have spring, and it's 6 months, where for your first 3 months it's lecture phase, and you have like your overarching general lecture with everybody, and then you have your skill set, which is like once a week, and it's either media, messenger, or music. And then you also have your movement track, which is either Carry the Love, Black Voices, or Brave Love, which is women's. Brave Love is women's, Carry the Love is like universities, Black Voices is HBCUs, predominantly Black communities. And so I help lead the Black Voices track, and which I led that this past spring, and it was amazing. Loved all my students. Next FAQ is, how do we get paid? How do we support ourselves? We live off of donations.
Your donations.
So a lot of people, when we tell them this, they kind of think like, oh, that's so crazy, it's such a faith move. You're right, it is. We literally live off of the generosity of others. So we have like different ways for people to give: EquipNet, Cash App, and Venmo. EquipNet is like the easier option because 1, it's tax deductible. 2, it gathers all the donations we get from people, and it pays us like a paycheck on the 1st and the 15th of every month. And so we live off of the monthly donations of people. So basically, if you'd have a monthly subscription to Netflix, you'd give monthly donations to us. And so people give like 25, 50, 100, 300, like it varies. And then the last FAQ is Circuit Riders a church? No, it's a missional organization. The whole point of Circuit Riders is it's a missional organization under YWAM, which is Youth with a Mission. And the whole point is just to preach the gospel to nations, generations, the lost, just to make sure all have heard the gospel. And so within Circuit Riders, missionaries go to church. We are still members of our home church in New Jersey, but no, Circuit Riders itself is not a church. Sorry, I lied. That wasn't the last FAQ. This is the last FAQ. What is Black Voices? Who are y'all? What do you do? Tell us that, babe.
Oh, so Black Voices, I thought she was going to do it. Black Voices is a missional arm of Circuit Riders. Circuit Riders has been around for like 10, 13 years. Black Voices, like I said before, has only been around for 3 years. Black Voices' job is to reach young Black Gen Z with the gospel.
Not even just Gen Z, just young Black leaders.
we believe that the enemy has tried so hard to silence the mouth of black people and to make them believe that the gospel isn't for them.
Or that Christianity is the white man's religion.
Yeah, and there's something so important about black people reaching black people. I like to say the scripture that says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony. The gospel is powerful. The blood of the Lamb is powerful. But mixed with testimonies, mixed with when I can hear how the gospel impacted your life, another black person, I can see myself in that redemption story, and that draws my heart closer. It's the same reason why there are women's ministries, there are youth ministries, because there's something about people relating to the testimony of the gospel in their life.
We just believe for every tribe, tongue, and nation to hear, that every tribe, tongue, and nation needs to be empowered to speak. And so right now, if you look at the demographic of black missionaries coming out of America, it's less than 1%. And we're hoping that with Black Voices, we're able to change that. Not just with missionaries going out of America, but just raising up black missionaries in general who will preach the gospel and speak the word of God. Because I feel like right now we have so many things fighting for our voice, so many things fighting for our attention, but what better thing to give it to than to God, to Jesus, and to the gospel?
And not just making people missionaries where they have to like
go
travel,
out,
but also equipping young black leaders to live out their God-centered calling. So whether you're called to the medical field or the educational field or wherever you're called to, it's like you can be a biblical leader, and also you can bring revival and you can bring the gospel to your community and to where you are right now. But first, how will they know unless someone preaches the gospel, right? And so we come to equip people and then empower them for you guys to go and carry that message to places that we may never have access to.
Your workplace, your home, your community, your city, your town,
that's your mission
state
field.
That's your mission field. So essentially that's who we are, that's what we do. Thank you for watching this. I feel like we hit every question. If we didn't, put it in the comments. But if you would like to give to what we're doing, I'm gonna put the screen right here.
Honestly, all you're giving is super helpful.
It is, because that's all we live off of.
Like even when we travel, like we're about to go to Kenya, we still have to pay rent. Because we have to make sure we have a place to come back to and everything. So everything you send us, it really helps us to stay focused on the mission and just take care of life, because life keeps lifing. And
then if you're also asking like, do our leaders or does anybody get paid? No, the whole entire movement lives off of donations and the generosity of other people. I remember talking to one of our donors and they were basically like, we believe in the body of Christ being like an actual body. Like right now, you're the ones that can go out and you can go out onto the field and do the things that I can't, but what I can do is support you in doing that. And in me supporting you, essentially you're basically doing the same thing we're doing. You're an extension of it, because we wouldn't be able to do it without you. As for what we have coming up next, Elijah and I will be going to Kenya in 2 weeks, and after Kenya we'll be going to Ghana in September, and then if we're able to fundraise the money, I will be going to Kona to help with our youth camp in July and August. So I'm gonna put the things we're doing right here. Our needs by category are gonna be right here. And then one last time, here are the ways to give. Thank you for watching. We love you, but as much as we love you, God loves you more. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notifications. Actually, take a second, do that right now. That way you can know when I post. But love you as much as I love you. God loves you more. Bye.